Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Belgian Grand Prix on this lovely Sunday afternoon. Albeit, well, it hasn't really been that lovely. Goodness gracious me. We've had storms and everything in the old forest, I do know, but and I am expecting more forest. Yes, we are, because we are in the Ardennes forest. But I'm also expecting more storms on the track as well. Of course, Belgium is, of course, as its own microclimate, don't they? It's certainly always one for preparing in terms of preparing for wet weather and all that jazz. Let's go for the drivers and the constructors, shall we? And then we've got some bombshell news to let you all in as well on a secret as well. There. Right, it is Mortor who leads the way by 37 points, and of course on 192 so far. Simon Swift Ninja lowered it down ever so slightly, but it's still 37 points. Then Nee Candish or MHD then currently 66 points adrift of the championship leader. 30 for 29 points away from Sam Swift Ninjaman. Bravitt, a superb fourth position, went on 104. 69, nice. For Flippy on in fifth position. Sixth position is actually it's changed now, but of course six is Van Von at the moment. But on my spreadsheet, it is someone slightly different. We'll talk about in a minute. Then we got Peas on 45, 44 for Menace, 31 for Lights, 24 for Troy. Then we got Boxstyle on 22. Equals 8-7 for Nameless. Legends on 4, 3 for Chatter, 3 for Knowles, 1 for Morris, 1 for Cam, and 0 for Delano, unfortunately. And then in the Constructors Championship, then it is like this at the moment. And in the Constructors at the moment, it's also 192 points for the Racing Bull team, who currently have got all their points scored by one driver so far. 21 points in front of the Alpine team that have been, I think, the most consistent team so far this season, which is all cool. And then in third position is the Kick Sauber team on 159 points. Haas on 105, 72 points for the McLaren team, 65 for Red Bull. Mercedes on 50, 44 for Ferrari, 27 for Williams, and only 8 points for Aston Martin. A horror show season so far for the Aston Martin team, but hopefully they can turn that around. Then we are about half distance in the championship now. What round are we on? We're on round 11, aren't we? And then in the Joint Constructors Championship, it is the Alpine that leads the way on 446 points, then 53 in front of the McLaren team, and that's been yo-yoing around over the past couple of weeks. It's been very incredible to watch the progress. We need to get a graph, or I do love a good graph of just showing the ebbs and flows of that Constructors Championship. It's been magnificent. Third position, the Williams team on 190 points. Excuse me, 390 points for the Williams team at Racing Bulls. 10 points adrift. 10 points adrift is the Aston Martin team in fifth position. The Kick Sauber on 363, 309 for the Ferrari team. Hopefully they do better than they did in Zandvoort today. Eighth position is the Haas team on 234 points. 226 for Red Bull, and 140 for the Mercedes team. And then as they have just crossed the 100 mark, then just a few moons ago then, so not ideal for the Mercedes, but as I said, we're just over half distance in this one, so this one is still very much up for grabs, so isn't it, that as we are on round 11 now of the championship. Sam Swift Ninja took his fourth Grand Prix win last time out in the home of motorsport, the British Grand Prix, which I gotta say in this season is teeing out to be quite nice indeed, isn't it? Of course, championship rival Immortal taking his seventh podium last time out, that with Sam Swift Ninja only on his fourth currently then. But Sam Swift Ninja, remember in his first season of Grand Prix racing, he did come from quite a long way back to snatch the championship lead off Boxtel. So potentially we could see that as well. But Sam Swift Ninja does need to maybe kick on and get some form now. Of course, I say that to be fair, he has scored in every single race he has participated in so far. In all 10 races, he has not had any issues at all. But then that's the same for Immortal as well, who has also scored in every single event as well. The worst position this season for Immortal is actually fifth in the Canadian Grand Prix, which is pretty phenomenal stuff indeed then for Immortal. He's absolutely superb stuff. Aiming to become the first driver? I don't think so, actually. The first driver then to win the Event League and also the Gold Championship as well, which is quite an incredible feat to do. Also, we was on 700 subscribers the other week. We're back down to 699, which is devastating. So Serious Mushroom needs to get out the old fake accounts again, I think. as we are here in Belgium then for round number 11 of the World Championship as well then. So so as you can see then, so we are, hang on a minute while I do it. So of course we are in Spa. The longest circuit on the Formula One calendar is Spa. Then of course Spa does have a lap record which is actually set by Liam, yeah, back in season 10 then. So not too long ago was Spa was our lap record. Well, I'd say not a long time ago. It's actually 3 seasons ago now, wasn't it? But of course, here in the Ardennes Forest, up the Kemmel Straight then, which I cannot wait then. Of course, that's where we're going to see a lot of the overtaking then coming up of Eau Rouge and Radion. Then, as you mentioned, then this is the longest circuit on the Formula One calendar. Only 22 laps around this circuit. So if you have any issues, you really are going to struggle unless you get a safety car because it's so difficult to catch back up. Then we do have about 2 DRS zones. So it's not about us. We do have 2 DRS zones, don't we? Of course, up the Kemmel Straight, which sometimes does make it a bit easy to overtake. Then no milestones tonight. I do not believe in terms of the. In terms of the stats and all that kind of jazz, albeit I am having a bit of a mare when it comes to stats at the moment, of course, because I think Speed Kai keeps changing his name then, which I think has actually fudged me stats up a bit, so I'm very upset about that, but never mind. And also as well, of course, I was talking about the big news that was coming out of the paddock then. Of course, Mumford unfortunately has hung up his helmet as he's just struggling to get to grips with the competitive nature of gold potentially. Maybe, I'm not too sure to be fair, but unfortunately Mumford with no points on the board. The Racing Bull team has elected to bring in a former world champion, and that is the season 9 champion of Lucas Percy is back in full-time capacity, of course, and he'll be making his 118th Grand Prix start tonight. So with the team of Immortal and Percy, that is the most experienced combination on the grid, apart from the Williams duo of Troye and Knowlesy. But Lucas Percy back in a full-time capacity. Currently Percy is 6th in the World Championship. And how many points is he behind, actually? Because I didn't read that bit out because I was very cunning. 133 points back. I don't think the Percy's going to be able to challenge, make a championship challenge there for the remainder of the season. But welcome back down to Lucas Percy in a full-time capacity. Boxed out on circuit in the Mercedes-Benz. Lovely stuff indeed. Then, of course, by the way, I'm sure the day anniversary came up actually, that it is 6 years to the day that we lost Anton Hubert in that horrific crash in Formula 2, and I'm not sure if and the irony of that is that we're actually racing on the circuit where Anton Hubert lost his life, but lost his life doing the thing that he loved then, which was growing racing as well. And of course, and Correa, I think one Manuel Correa also I think raced in. Does he race in the India Indy NXT now or Indy Next series, which is. I'm not sure. I'm sure I've seen his name there somewhere. So that's pretty cool to see as well. Of course, as Correa had to also rebuild himself after that horrific shunt as well. Then, but yeah, that popped up as it popped up. It's quite a sad reminder, of course, of that horrific shunt. I remember doing. What was I doing? I think I used to do the highlight packages for ALR way back then, and I remember it was on in the background when that incident happened. Shocking, indeed, and horrific stuff. But boxed out at the top of the hill, it's Lake Com. Of course, one of my favourite memories of the Lake Com chicane then is where Damon Hill and Michael Schumacher was clashing wheels, weren't they, at the top of the hill at the 1995 race then, before, of course, Schumacher switched to slicks and won, or was he already on slicks? I think he was already on slicks actually, whilst Hill was on wet tyres. It just shows how incredible Schumacher was in the wet sessions. Damon Hill didn't really, as Boxstars ran wide down, is invalidated this time. Only one qualifying session, and in Grand Prix racing these days we haven't got the knockout anymore, which is sad for some drivers and for other drivers, and they probably not too fond of that knockout session as well, so you can get straight on with the racing, which is what we're here at. That's where the points gets won. Is points means prize and all that kind of stuff. On board Morrison in the Haas car has gone purple in the second sector as we come out of Paul Frere, I think it is, or is it Stavelo? One of those two. There's a car to Blanchimont now, of course. One of the most, I think, is it the highest G in terms of crash? For Luciano Berti in the 2001 Belgian Grand Prix. Horrific shot indeed. It's a very weird start to that Belgian Grand Prix. Ralf Schumacher was stuck up on his jacks as Morris's deployment there is going a bit flashy there, which is not something you want to be doing on a Sunday, is flashing me. I haven't said that. I do love to get flashed. But of course, a very unusual start there is Nigel. Of course, I'm sure he won his third Grand Prix of his career, actually, here. When he was on his way to his first ever World Championship at ALR, of course, driving in the Scuderia Ferrari. And of course, Nigel is he doesn't mind me saying so, is far from his best, or far from his peak performance years in Grand Prix racing, but goodness gracious me, he's a legend in motorsport, which is really cool to see indeed. Kiki going in the Williams there, of course. It's great to see Kiki also tackling the top division as well. Duke has gone second fastest there, just underlines Duke's credentials. They're doing a good job in silver this season. Yellow flag out there, that is when the Williams team was just getting off the racing line there. On board the World Champ, not the World Champions. That's a spoiler. Goodness me, we're just about halfway through this season. Of course, a 20-round season this time around. But I'm also then, of course, the championship leader, I should say, then, of course, world champion in the event league. I think the first ever world champion that we had in the event league as well. Anyway, where am I? On to the comments. Let go says Nosy Belgian Waffles for the top three then at ALR. We've also got a gold cup there from Kaj then. Very good stuff indeed. Then Lewis Hamilton has received the 5-place grid penalty for failing to sign the yellow flags earlier on in the Dutch Grand Prix. That's sad. That just popped up. Where am I? As happy birthday to Jenna as well. Of course, I've mentioned about I mentioned about, of course, anniversary as MHD goes first faster, but yes, happy birthday to Jenna. 40, goodness me, I've had 6 years onto his age. 34 years of age then for Jenna, of course, one of the quickest drivers over a single lap in ALR at the moment in terms of the formula, which is really cool stuff indeed. Boxed out goes into a much better fifth position there this time round. He doesn't invalidate his lap, which is very cool indeed, isn't it? So yeah, happy birthday to Jenna, good stuff indeed there. Real Ashton has retracted his comment now. Goodness me, what's that man going to say? On more of legends then, who Sirius Mushroom told me, well, Sirius Mushroom and Knowlesy was telling me that actually I've been calling legend wrong, which is shocking stuff indeed. I apologise profusely to legend. However, on the plus side for legend, of course, he did score 4 points back in the Austrian Grand Prix. But of course, legend has got to the end of every race he's participated in this season. Hopefully, that's not a commentator's curse. Then here is Lucas Percy, of course, this is the talk of the town in Grand Prix race at the moment. Is Lucas Percy back in a Grand Prix seat, the former world champion there? Of course, I think the second most successful driver in ALR potentially, or maybe even the most successful driver. Mortal goes third fastest. Racing Bulls are leading the Constructors' Championship at the moment there, but that's more of Immortal's incredible performances this season. But I do feel that this is basically guaranteed the Constructors' Championship for the Racing Bull in technically their first season. Yes, I know it's they've been in Grand Prix racing now for 18 years, but of course name changes, all that kind of stuff. I reset the stats and all that kind of jazz. Wow, look at all these noobs using setups and doing 50%, says Sirius Mushroom. Oh yes, I had a horror show on Wednesday. I must say, I think what am I trying to say? I don't know, to be honest. I do think that I'm well out of my depth in the event league. It's absolutely been a slog this season. I think I've only scored 9 points, and I only scored those that extra point in on Wednesday was basically because Knowlesy and Lewis pitted, really. Otherwise, it was a bit of a shambles, really. I blame Mushroom setup. Out the final turn there for Percy across the line, and of course, up in the fourth position there, 6/10 of a second away from his teammate there, but his teammate has been the measuring stick of Grand Prix this season. Here's Sam Swift Ninja, the triple world champion there, of course, the most successful driver, in terms of the world championships there, of course, one more than Emerson and Granty, who's double world champions, but did not get that elusive third championship did they, in their time in Grand Prix racing there. On board their South Surfing Ninja there. Is this the most toughest season he's had so far? Certainly, but we're on round 11. We've still got 9 rounds to go, so there's still a long way to go in this championship. Absolutely. Where am I? Thank you for having me back, gentlemen. Feel like Schumacher coming to the Merc, says Percy there. Well, make of that what you will then. Of course, Schumacher did have a great, only had 1 podium in his return to the Mercedes as well. But of course, remember, his teammate Rosberg went on to win the World Championship in 2016. However, Percy's current teammate is leading the World Championship. South Surfing Ninja does actually squeeze in between the 2 Red Bulls then, as snug as a bug there, isn't he? Riley in the Mercedes, who very helpfully got me into the top 50. Oh, Nameless is unfortunately wingless there, and damaged there, and I got to say his wings have been clipped there, unfortunately for the Aston Martin, and Nameless will be coming back into the pits momentarily. Of course, Nameless in the last 4 races has scored all his points and doing a pretty good job. Nameless is recently, as Bravitt flies past me, almost taking off my fake mustache. Just watching O'Reilly at the moment in the second Merc. Where am I? I raced with Duke last night. Legge. I'm going to just call it. Thanks for the birthday shout out. Stuck at work, but keeping an eye on the race, says Jenna. Oh gosh, stuck at work on a Sunday. Horrific stuff indeed. I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to give you any spoilers about the Grand Prix then, but Zandvoort, the Dutch Grand Prix. But I say, Jenna, if you've not watched it, absolutely watch it. It was a cracker. Maybe I'll have some crackers and cheese as well, but there's only even that crackers and cheese anymore, do they? Said that. Apparently, cheese doesn't give you nightmares either. Of course, that's one of my fun facts. Is Bravitt in a lot of traffic here, isn't he? In the Fania chicane for Bravitt. Then I do love this circuit. It's the best circuit on the calendar. Was you trying to think of a excuse to blame me? And, and I could hear you ticking there. Happy 65th birthday for Jenna as well. To be honest, I am like a time bomb, I must admit. Mad Menace Max there asking for another invite. It's for some reason my Discord notifications have come up all in a row. Good stuff. I love the phone. Out of the final court there. Used to be a bus stop. That's why it was called the bus stop chicane. It's sadly not a bus stop anymore because they've absolutely butchered that bus stop, in my opinion. Now, Morris has had a horror show of a season there, but using his teammate to absolute perfection there to get himself in 5th position there. Morris there, of course, we've heard he has been very critical of himself, as Morris there. Very frustrated as well as Morris there. Of course, we know what he can do then. A Grand Prix winner is Morris in his in the previous seasons that come through. Blanchimont now is Kiki. Nameless, who's back in the pits after having issues with his front wing of the Aston Martin. So back in the pits now. Here comes Kiki. Up to the bus stop chicane now does come Kiki out of it as well. So we've got a lot of cars out on the circuit mode, and then of course luckily this is the longest circuit on the Formula 1 calendar, 22 laps around here, and we are expecting a lot of overtakes then, albeit it depends on I must say it does depend on setups and things like that then, but I do feel that the DRS is quite powerful around here, and it's going to be interesting. The last source hairpin is not going to be the critical part of the Grand Prix start tonight. It is going to be this run here where Chazza is going to fly past me now. Great stuff indeed there for Chazza going through Eau Rouge and Radion then, and now onto the Kemmel Straight. So this part here of lap 1 is going to be crucial. At any safety car restarts, and it is going to be a drag up to Lake Com before they climb back down the hill, which is going to get very interesting indeed then, I think, as the race develops, which of course is in about 5, 6, 7 minutes time perhaps, something like that. Just on board Chaz. I think Chaz did Chaz on the result a few races ago. No, that's not a good result. And into the wall there, out of the corner with no name. And Chazza, unfortunately, he had a point in Austria. Oh gosh, I've got too many notifications up there. It's a random breeze just flew past me there in pole position now for Immortal, who's on pole position in the British Grand Prix as well. Immortal is currently on 4 pole positions for the season, which is double Sam Swift Ninja, who is second on 2 so far. Immortal currently pole position by 2/10 of a second now from MHD in second position. Flippy in third. Sam Swift Ninja down into fourth at the moment. Chazza coming back to the pits now, but unfortunately for Chazza, he has crashed and damaged the McLaren, and he'll be coming back into the pits momentarily to get that wing changed. But has he got enough time? Now look at this, as we do look at the lap times are almost at 100 seconds there. It's a longer lap than it's almost 2 minutes for an out lap, as you do not want to take any life out of those tyres there. Sadly, we can't see the top. It's about 4 minutes to go. Oh, those tyres are not going to be used for the rest of qualifying or for the race then. For Chaz, he's probably flat spotted up there. As Martin Brundle says, they're like 50 pence pieces now, or 50p. Nigel currently then about a tenth of a second away from Menace. I think one of the stories of the season for me has to be well, just so I say that, Menace goes at 10 fastest. But Menace, of course, a Grand Prix winner. I was expecting him to win more Grand Prix this season. And not only that, I was actually expecting Menace to potentially be in the top 3 and challenging maybe for the championship as well. But it's been a horror show for the Ferrari driver. Only 44 points on the board so far. Only 1 pole position and only 1 podium to his name for Menace. And that was in the opening race in Australia. It's not been good at all for Menace's point of view, sadly, as who's goodness me, someone just went flying off. Menace are taking a shortcut then, as I'm meant to be looking at Percy, who's gone up into 4th. And goodness me, if Percy is within half a second of his championship leading teammate is Percy. I don't think Percy has won a Grand Prix yet this season. He's had 2 podiums as Percy. He's also had the disqualification in the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix as well, as I'm sure he's very happy for me to mention that then. But of course, that's how I roll. I always bring up the negative facts of everyone there. I always remember the worst of people, especially Farf's career. I always love to bring up Farf crashing into the pit lane in Australia, but I always caveat by saying that, of course, Farf did, of course, replicate the man, the myth, the legend, which is David Coulthard, with the squarest jawline I have ever seen on anyone there. Coulthard's a legend. I don't know why. He used to be my favourite driver in the late 90s and early 2000s. No idea why. Maybe because I probably liked his helmet. Curse him, Sean says. Serious Mushroom. Curse you, Serious Mushroom. How dare you? How dare you assume that? As nameless just on an outlaw from them. So this is it then. This is the final of the run so far. I was just saying about Percy's career stats of the season so far. Of course, 6 Grand Prix starts, 2 podiums, not too bad. However, those 2 podiums came in Australia and Japan. He hasn't had much since, as Percy. Here's the world champion then, Sam Swift Ninja. So Sam Swift Ninja then needs to well, does he need to start to cull down this championship lead? It's not. I don't think it's mission critical yet. Then Menace out of qualifying. He's 10th at the moment. Now going through Rouge and over the brow Grady on here. Just checking to see if your notifications were on, says Serious Mushroom. Sadly, my notifications are always on. Pease has retired from the session, down in 20th position there at the top of the lake. 2/10 of a second down is Sam Swift Ninja. I'm wondering if he's saved a bit of battery for the rest of the lap then. Now, this second sector, it's all about point and squirt then. It's a very technical part of this circuit, and of course now through the corner of no name, albeit I've heard that it's actually called Jackie Ixon, which of course is a legendary Belgian driver. I think he was more legendary in sports car rather than Formula 1, but I must admit my knowledge of the 70s is pretty horrific to say the least then, albeit that's one thing I do want to learn more about. Maybe as the winter months come on, I might see if I can get some season reviews going in the 1980s, which would be quite cool indeed. However, enough about that, because the 91 hundredths of a second down, and that's on his personal best. That's not on the overall time so far, which is one thing I'd love to see in the next F1 game, if possible, is having the times displayed at the bottom, where it shows you the gap from pole position to the current driver you're watching. But I think that's just a pipe dream. Out of the final turn then, DRS at a bit slow there for Sam Swift Ninja, goes across the line. Only 5th fastest there for Sam Swift Ninja, so he's currently on the 3rd row of the grid and shared it with the Duke, who's currently reserving for the Red Bull team then. For Red Bull, just look to see where Equals is. Down in 11th position, Equals is alone there, as Equals fastest actually dropped down to 12th because Nameless has just gone into 11th fastest there. Nameless seems to live in 11th position there. He's our very own Ollie Behrman there. As Ollie Behrman seems to go into second 11th position as well. MHD stays second there, but look at that, just by a whisker. MHD then open for his first pole position, second pole position of the season. Unfortunately, that's not the case, though, is it? Boxtel moves up into sixth position. Competitive time for the Mercedes driver. Lovely jubbly indeed there for Boxtel. Flippy, what's Flippy doing then? Coming out of Stavilo. What about Immortal? Immortal is 2/10 to a second up. Goodness gracious me, that man is flying out there. My golly gosh, and the two Haas cars are doing a bit of a slipstream here. Brabbit and also Morris as well. And Morris is going to have the horrific dirty air into the bus stop. Look at the car, not very compliant there, out of the bus stop. Here comes Brabbit across the line. Brabbit stays not finished, but Morris has outqualified his teammate, and that's a statement of intent. Duke goes sixth fast there, reclaims his sixth position now. Flippy stays in the third position there. Yellow flag is fluttering out there at the moment. We've got a lot of drivers coming across the line. Kiki into the superb 8th position. Knowlesy stays in 14th position, up into 14th, I should say. Nigel goes to 15th. Legends is out on circuit at the moment, but I think Legends might be finished for the day. No, he isn't. He's up to 12. Fantastic for Legends there. But Immortal reclaims pole position, lowers the bar once more, and it is pole position number 5 of the season for Immortal. Wow, magnificent stuff indeed there for Immortal. That's his second pole position in a row. Oh, brilliant stuff indeed there. What's his all-time stats, I hear you ask? Hang on, let me get my old specs out. My goodness me. Oh, I was reading the wrong column there. My goodness gracious me now. 27th pole position of his career for Immortal. Wow, that's incredible stuff. And of course, he's already got the most pole positions in Gold's history. And now, thank goodness me, he's just extending that as well. What an incredible pole position that was. 102 qualifying attempts, 27 pole positions. Right, let me quickly update my book so that I don't forget. Oh, goodness me. Oh. Fantastic. Where am I? I don't know where I'm to. I'm in Belgium at night, then. Goodness me. Righty-ho, let's get rid of all that. Scrap, says Equals, and Farhad, then Tom, my goats, Lucas Percy. We have also got Knee Candy in the best place for lap 1, says Serious Mushroom. Why does Mushroom say that? He says that because of course, we've already talked about it in qualifying about slipstreaming right up into Lake Carb there. And of course, we'll talk about that on the formation lap as well. Let's go, Immortal! Massive suck, goodness me. Yes, oh God, I need to read out the comments first. No, I need to read the comments and read about that. Immortal, look at that. I know it's the longest circuit on the calendar, but 0.4 of a second there. Flippy in third. I think Flippy's I think the Flippy has been for the first driver in a very long time. The silver champion has come up and has really looked like a very impressive competitor. Not to make no shade on any other silver drivers that have come up, but of course remember even the likes of Troy, for example, who was the silver champion, came up and did struggle, didn't he, in his first season. Brabbit, who's of course remembering silver, it was so good, and then of course has been up and down in his gold career, but this season his best season in terms of wins, in terms of output, and all that kind of jazz. Mayran, good luck, everyone. Rain, says Equals. I love rain. Well, by the way, I've had me nephew stay with me over the past couple of weeks, and sadly, my living room now resembles a bit of a let's just say it's so messy. But annoyingly, one of them let's just say vomited on my carpet. They didn't tell me, they didn't clean it up, so now this room does smell a bit of vanish, a bit of everything else, and I think it smells a bit. It doesn't smell very nice at the moment in here, I must say. He vomited on last Sunday or Monday, something like that. And yeah, so if anyone knows how to get vomit out of the carpet, that'd be fantastic. To be and it's just staying the carpet. I'm absolutely devastated by it. To be fair, there we go. To be honest, I might just get a rug and just buy a rug and just put it over it, really, shouldn't I? Or something like that. Maybe I should actually open my windows, but I do live like a hermit. Let's go for the grid. we got a mixture of medium and hard tires. Equaz did mention that there's rain on the horizon, or did he was Equaz just looking out the window? Because of course it's been raining everywhere. It seems like today. So this is what Mushroom was talking about, the drag race up to the top of Lake Com. And remember the famous line from David Croft there, here comes Sebastian Vettel. We could be saying that for MHD, we could be saying that for Flippy, or for Percy. Going up that run, up to the hill, then I cannot wait. A mortal pole position there on the medium tyres. MHD has gone hard on, and that's interesting. So of course it's a straightforward one stopper around here, unless of course we get rain, which could be on the horizon. Flippy then going on medium, which means it's going to be hard for Percy. Fifth position is Sam Swift Ninja with 6. Duke, great 17 there for Duke. I'm a big fan of the Duke. Seventh position is Boxstar. Hard tyres for Boxstar. Hard tyres also for Kiki as well. They're showing really well, Kiki and the Willy. Fantastic. And then we got the 2 Haas cars. Morris, a superb 9th position on the grid there. And Brabbitt is overtaken Morris. I remember Michael Schumacher doing that in the 94 British Grand Prix. And I'm sure he got a 10-second stop-go penalty for that, but luckily the stewards in ALR is not as harsh as they used to be back in the day. Too much info, sure. To be fair, what I could say is I could tell you about the content. No, that's not good. Menace in the 10th position. If someone tells me how to get it out of the carpet, that's fantastic. What I am thinking about is there's something called the rug something, where it's like a machine where you could like just put it over the carpet and stuff like that. But Immortal's been disqualified. That's not good, so he's going to lose a couple of meters off the line. And 12th position is Legend in hard tyres, headed the Kick Sauber. 13th position is Nameless, then on medium. Then we've got a load of hard runners. We've got Equals in 14th. 15th is Knowlesy with Nigel in 16th. Riley in 17th position there. Cam is in 18th position on the medium. Chad's at 19th. He's already had a spin at the Jackie X turn, or the no-name turn. And Pease, who's had a great season there. Pease has been one of my drivers of the season there so far. It's been superb stuff indeed. As they're all lined up on the grid now, as Mortal is MHD is pointing his car at the pole center. Mortal here. Goodness gracious me, let's get that off the show. Hang on. Oh, we're going. 5 lights are on. And we are go for the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a short squirt down into turn 1. As already Flippy using those medium tyres to advance up the inside of MHD. And they all go away safe and sound. Then, of course, you had the horrific shunt there back in the 99. There's a Ferrari who's been squeezed into the wall. Oh, goodness me. I think that would have been a menace going through Eau Rouge and then powering up the hill. Then wow, look at that. And the McLaren is coming in. We've also got one of the Kick Saubers. And Sam Swift Ninja in there as well as they come up the hill. Then look at the slipstream in there. As they're all going to go to Lake Com then, as Immortal kept the lead then, yes, and now up the inside there goes MHD. Sam Swift Ninja has contact, and then Percy's almost losing the car then and almost off the circuit. Percy on those hard tyres with Sam Swift Ninja on the medium tyres, using it to absolute perfection as he is pushing MHD through, coming through the corner, no name as well then, as we drop down the hill once again and into Puyong then on this one then, as now flicking it in there, and flicking it in there. But look at that then. So already then Immortal has survived the start. Beautifully was that beautiful Chrome and Papaya McLaren all over the gearboxes. Flippy aiming for his first, trying to get his first Grand Prix win this season, which I do think is going to happen this season. We're only on round 11 out of 20, of course. Now then coming out of Paul Fred and now coming up to the long blast up into the bus stop chicane. And look at the guy then. Sounds of Ninjas off the circuit. Sounds of Ninjas off the circuit would have lost an abundance amount of time here. Nigel's already got a 3-second penalty there. Not ideal then. Pease up 7 positions. Kiki's had a terrible start in the Williams car. Horror show. A magnificent start for Pease in the Alpine car. Fantastic. Going to complete lap 1 then. The gap is 6/10 of a second. But of course, his Nameless has now got past Equals. Mortal set the fast of the race. And obviously, having been the first driver across the line then. Now Menace is back up into 11th position. And DRS has been enabled then. As Flippy is now within deal. Up the inside. contact between the two cars, and Nameless is, and now look at that, he's lost out there. Another Ferrari is going to get squeezed out here. Ed Quells is now in the 12th position. A lovely shot here then to go for Eau Rouge and for Rallion as well. And now coming over the brow of the hill then, and then it is Pease who's all over the gearbox. Sounds of Ninjas up in the 2nd position. Percy's up in the 4th position now as they come up to Lake Com. Pease cuts across the Aston Martin there as Ed Quells and also on the inside there. Nameless is off the circuit there. He's going to get a warning for that, surely, for the Aston Martin driver. But he is down into 12th position now. 13th is at Legends. And there's the Ferrari of Nameless trying to get back into 13th position, trying to make up time that he has lost over the opening stage of this Grand Prix here. My word there. Back, whoa, who's that off? That's Kiki out of the Grand Prix, out of the race, and there's also Chaz off the circle as well. No safety car, but a 10-second penalty for Chazza. Unfortunately, it is a VSC then, but Chaz is getting a penalty for his involvement there. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if Kiki was pushed off or if he got a helping hand then. I really should have watched the back, to be honest. Get a vanish stick shot then. Oh, and a bowl of water. And a rug muncher. What? Goodness me, Mushroom. Not on the programme today, please. Ooh. Wow, VSC out there at the moment. So Kiki is the first retirement in this Grand Prix. And as Kiki is an admin these days, it gives me great pleasure to give him some stats about it. Actually, that's Kiki's first retirement as a gold driver. As racing in gold, actually. I thought you had already one retirement, but in his 4 Grand Prix starts, Kiki has only retired once. Riley is now down into 17th position there. But Kiki out of the Grand Prix, sadly. And Gorham the Peas says serious much there. Lap 3 of the Grand Prix then. So with VSC then, of course, the DRS will be activated almost instantly, and it will be activated instantly. There's not almost about it. Amultor, Flippy, Samsung Ninja now is second and a bit back with Percy, MHD. And then we've got Boxed Out, who's going to have the attention now of the Haas car of Brabbit. Here comes Brabbit, and Duke dropping down the competitions. Here comes Brabbit at the top of the hill at Lake Com. Then I think he's going to have to struggle to get past. This DRS is much better than what I was expecting here tonight, which means that overtaking is not going to be an easy feat then, which is what we want to see. These drivers need to be heroes, don't they? They cannot just breeze past, and that's not what anyone wants to see. We want to see them fight past. Percy is becoming a bit of a stop here, a mobile chicane. How dare I say that about the former world champion? Of course, Percy back in as a full-time driver in Grand Prix racing now. But Percy is about a second behind Soundswift Ninja, and everyone behind him is all within DRS range. Morris in 9th position. P's driving superbly well, going from the back of the field up into 10th after 3 laps there. Whoa, it's boxed out. Goodness gracious me. That would have been a very, very worrying moment indeed there for Boxstar, but luckily able to carry on there, because that could have been very damaging indeed then. For only one retirement so far, I'd like to see what happened there between Kiki and Chazza there, as we got damage there from one of the undersides of the cars there. I think that the curbs there can be quite rough, which is sadly what we've lost actually in racing recently. I heard Crofty or Villeneuve say it actually in the broadcast of Sky earlier on about we don't get to see drivers attack the curbs much anymore just because of these ground effect cars. I must admit, I was a big fan of the ground effect cars before they came in, because I thought it was a good idea there, where there'd be less topside aero, and there'd be more less topside aero, which means there'd be less dirty air. But however, actually, that doesn't seem to be the case. Here comes MHD then, now chasing Percy, then coming up to Lake Com as Percy contacted as Percy tries to defend. However, that is that's not ideal at all, and that is more contact, and Percy's off the circuit. Oh dear, and oh my goodness me, do you think that Percy was a bit extreme there in closing the door potentially? Well, MHD's got damage and Percy hasn't, but he's lost an abundance amount of time. Did MHD justify the position there? Or do you think that Percy was a bit extreme when it comes to his defensive drive? I would not. I'm going to sell the fence. But of course, maybe but it is these cars are quite wide now. Nigel's off the circuit and going the wrong way, and Nigel unfortunately is having a couple of issues out there at the moment. Out of the corner with no name or the Jackie X turn, depending on what air Grand Prix you're in. First retirement since his £2,000 wheel, says a serious mushroom. I don't think Kiki has a £2,000 wheel, by the way. It seems it's a running gag every event race where Kiki always seems to have an issue with his wheel. Sadly, for Kiki's point of view, because it sometimes just turns off randomly, which is not for the thing you want to have, is it? As me and Mushroom are control guys. I would say that I have control, but I do lack control. Science Surf Ninja's now over 2 seconds now away from the front runners, which is a Mortal and Flippy. Then so Flippy chasing down the championship leader. So MHD then has got damage then after his skirmish with Percy then, as look at this, and now he is going to be swallowed up at the top of the hill of Lake Com here. And here they come again then. Oh my goodness me, and more contact then is Bogstow as this, oh my word there, and guys are going in a straight line, and that's not ideal. Nigel's out of the Grand Prix, left the session here. Bogstow and MHD are fighting. MHD is off the circuit. I'm wondering if MHD is absolutely furious about what happened the lap before, potentially, but goodness me, battering each other. These Formula 1 cars are quite fragile, especially in the ground effect era. My word there is just hitting each other. No, that's naughty. That says serious mushroom there. Elaborate, Mushroom. I want to hear your opinion. As Nigel out the Grand Prix, 2 retirements in the Belgian Grand Prix. Percy trying to make his way back through the field, getting past Morris, and now back up into 8th position there is Percy. But I'm wondering if MHD is frustrated about the damage on the Alpine car. Third in the World Championship there, and was still, I think, oh my word, and that's more contact. Oh, I'm not sure about contact, but there's certainly damage on the second Alpine as well. Alpine have been one of the most consistent constructors on the gold grid this season. Well, that's definitely the curse of the commentator, because all of a sudden it's all gone a bit pear-shaped there for the French constructor, sadly, as now Duke has lost out a double lock-up there from MHD, and he's trying to limp his way. Who's that in the pits there? I've seen that's Duke who's in the pits as well, and I'm wondering if Duke's got damage there. He's on the medium tires, actually, Duke is. He might be going for an undercut. MHD with wing damage now. Serious Mushroom, do you think that was not MHD's fault then? I must admit, the second one, certainly I feel. P's out of the Grand Prix as well. Goodness gracious me, got a lot of retirements in this one tonight so far. Well, Brabbit ain't going to care, because here comes Brabbit now, and past Brabbit goes up into 4th position. He's done it, and MHD then just almost forcing Percy off the road, and he dives back up the inside, and my goodness me, these drivers have got a bit of needle going on there. Percy gets 6th position there, which Peter's out of the Grand Prix, sadly, as MHD dropping down to 7th position now, locking up the inside tyre, does Percy, and I'm surprised he's allowed to keep that position there, but I must say that MHD and, I know he's actually got a 10-second penalty now for gaining a position there, and not ideal, and it is getting very feisty up there. Abem Candy says serious much there. I think that I think the first one between Percy and MHD. Yes, it's on the Kemmel Straight. These cars are quite bulky, and can get quite narrow up there with 2 cars, especially these big bulky machines of this era of Grand Prix racing. The second one didn't look as cut and dried. I think MHD was frustrated, and then that one as well. And I think that I do feel that MHD is probably frustrated about the damage that he received after the battle between himself and Percy. Never mentioned P is not guilty, says Serious Mushroom. I disagree. Into the pits comes MHD then, after having after being, to be honest, a bit of rough and tumble going on there. So Duke is down in 60th position now. 17 cars remaining. Of course, it's the top 10 that scores points in the Grand Prix these days. Not like the good old days then, which of course was when it was just the top 6 that scored. Back in my era, I hear you say, I keep saying MHD then was to blame there in terms of the driving up the top of the hill. And Lake Com! Oh my word! And oh, Piercy has got into the back of Boxtown there as Brabbit is through that, and we missed the end there because I was actually reading the comments. So it's your fault, not my fault. My goodness gracious me. I think Percy moved in breaking zone. Might be wrong, says Serious Mushroom there. So that is Mushroom's verdict there, of course, down in the comments there. Farp is loving that, is the in the comment section as well. But let's be honest, I do think Farp loves it when the racing gets a bit rough and heavy, doesn't he? He is from Ipswich. Oh goodness me! As Farfair getting a bit religious in the comment section as well. Fantastic. Right, where am I? Then Candy retaliated. So that's Serious Mushrooms. That's Serious Mushrooms point of view. I must say that I wasn't expecting this kind of Grand Prix today. To be fair, I was expecting to be breezing past the Kemmel Straight. I love this over-the-shoulder shot, by the way, for the championship leader. He's in the pits. And look how narrow it is coming in there. So let's hope that Farf doesn't hit that wall tomorrow night then as well, which of course keep an eye out for that. You called. Me religious God. Sam Swift Ninja leads. So Sam Swift Ninja, we've seen this over his successful years of ALR Grand Prix race, the extensive stint, and he does have better tyres at the end now. And I've just had a nasty waff of me. Oh goodness me. I did have a shower this morning as well. What's happened? There's a yellow flag at last horse. Oh my word, as Immortal's out in 6th position now, and we got a drag race here. Cam there, he's done a good job there, but he's going to cut across the McLaren. Oh my word, and Flippy up into 7th position. Magnificent stuff indeed from the McLaren driver, and my golly gosh, and now here comes Menace there, who's up into 8th position as well, into the top of the hill in Lake Com. Magnificent. Riley's also up into 10th position as well. Goodness gracious me, gentlemen. Sunday is meant to be a day of rest there, but there's certainly no rest here for tonight. Nameless also getting past MHD, who's now up into 14th position there, with Nameless down into 15th, and I'm dripping. As Morris is now up into 16th position as well. I could say something, but I'm not going to, because let's be honest, this is meant to be a PG show. Right, excuse me. So he moved before the braking zone. MHD wants blood. Laugh out loud, says Coop then. Hard to see from here. Sorry, Percy, says Serious Russian man. Knowles has got a 3-second penalty. Shame on him. So just watching Percy now in third position. I mean, I wish that there was actually like this on the event league on Wednesdays. Goodness me, because I might have had a chance of maybe. What was that? I thought I seen something go across the screen there. Perhaps it was just a bit of a graphical error or something like that. Or maybe it's just sweat coming off of my brow. Into the pits comes the champion now then. Sam Swift Ninja in the pits then for the Kick Sauber team. His teammate Legends doing a very good job there. His teammate Legends is on an alternative strategy here. So Legends will be going for, but double lock up there for Boxstar. Boxstar needs to go several laps more if he wants to get this strategy to work there. It's gone overcast out there. Equals has mentioned that the rain is afoot, but I'm not sure if it's going to be later on the Grand Prix. Anyone who's on the medium tyres then is going to be hamstrung by this. Here comes Percy then. So Percy's about to take the lead then here in the Belgian Grand Prix, and he does. To be fair, the track is quite wide at Lake Com, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think you should expect to be driving into each other at Lake Com, albeit maybe I'm just being harsh. Flippy now in 6th position. Flippy, look at that, he's gained on it. Immortal hand over fist. Sam Swift Ninja out in traffic, but that traffic was disposed of quite quickly as the Duke cuts across Brabbit and moves himself out to 10th position. That is position there because both drivers are on a similar strategy. Brabbit, who's done 2 laps less on those hard tyres compared to the Duke, who is on that 3-lap old hard tyres. Menace, who's also on a fresh set of boots. Cam there, almost going into the back of Chazza here. He's going on the outside. Chazza has damaged his car. I'm not sure if that was from the earlier skirmish there or not. Back at the front then, Legends leads with Legends is 4th with Immortal 5th and Flippy in 6th position. These are the highest runners who have stopped in. Sam Swift Ninjas now lost another 10th of a second. Last time we checked in, the gap was 3.4 seconds out there. I was expecting Percy and Boxall to go for it. Still might do, says Serious Mush now. As I got to say, it's getting a bit hair and scare out there here in the Ardennes Forest. But I must say, I do love it when it gets a bit raw. Love the helmet design as well from Flippy. I must say, that's one thing that this game's been really good at is it's a Flippy almost into the back of the racing ball. Then I think tonight is actually the last race of IndyCar, isn't it? Which is cool. I think they're on the Nashville oval, I think, or something like that. Then which I'd love to see. I'd love to see us do an oval. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? I must say though, it is much more difficult than what I ever thought it was. And it's so difficult to navigate yourself through that oval. Out to Eau Rouge and rally on once again. And then here he comes. That is Immortal then coming out from underneath the rear wing there. But Immortal hasn't got the. Oh, and look, Flippy's going to go through. It's going to be Zonta, and it's going to be Zonta, Haggard, and Schumacher. No, it isn't. There is Immortal gets full position there. Flippy in fifth. Legends is down into sixth, and Soundswift Ninja. I thought it was going to be right on the case there, but great stuff indeed. That Flippy almost pulled off the overtake of the season and replicating the 2000 Belgian Grand Prix, where Mick Hakkinen overtook Michael Schumacher for the lead of the Grand Prix, as of course poor Zonta didn't know where to go in his BAR Honda. Oh my word then. It was dirt flicking up, Sean. Goodness me. You would have thought I would have known that, as I am a bit dirty, and I do love a French. Watching Duke now, who's coming up to the back of Knowlesy here. Knowlesy has not stopped, then Duke has stopped. I wonder if Duke would be able to get to the end. He was one of the first runners that came into the pits. He was the first runner that came into the pits there to go onto those hard compound tires. So Duke may have to get these. May have to start to think about a bit of tire management in this one now then. Flippy is on it, says Coop then. Who else is on it as well? Duke is on it. I've got a rubbish camera angle here. Whoa, that's better. Oh my word, that Knowles has just trimmed my moustache. I don't have one. Now coming up into the bus stop chicane, not quite there for Duke. Duke has lost a bit of time there. That's the problem there. But it's just encouraging that Mercedes there to get. Is Duke almost going into the barrier there? As goodness me, the torque on these cars is incredible. And apparently next year it's going to be even more impressive. And of course, I've heard whispers that the cars could go up to over 400 kilometers an hour, which would be pretty impressive, wouldn't it? I am looking forward to next year, as Soundswift Ninja has gotten past his teammate Legend up into sixth position there. I am looking forward to next year, actually, because there's been a lot of doom and gloom about these 2026 engines, but I must say that I am looking very much forward to it as well. And having Audi with their engine in there as well, it's going to be magnificent. And not forgetting as well, Cadillac, as we've got an 11th team in Formula 1 as well. Thank goodness for that. I haven't mentioned it at all this season, I don't think, but thank goodness for that. We've got an 11th team in F1. And there has been rumours abound as well about Caterham returning with new investment or something like that, and Brabham trying to go on the outside with the corner with no name, which I think is not going to be ideal for Brabham's point of view, but he's not going to have a go down to Puyong here. Puyong. No, that's a Spanish defender. Through he goes, number 2 position, Riley down into 10th. So Duke is now 5 seconds away from the 2 kick Sauber cards. As Cooper's mentioned about Flippy is flying, and there he is. We're on board with Flippy now. I think the Flippy, as I mentioned in the earlier parts of the show, the Flippy has been one of the most impressive drivers that have come from silver to gold in the past couple of seasons, and it's been pretty impressive as Flippy has. I'm a big fan of this young man then. Hard tires need that rain quick, says Cirrus Mushroom. So we don't know when that rain's coming in. Equals gave us the breaking news about rain, but at the moment it looks quite glorious out here in Spa, doesn't it, then? Which is very unusual. Having said that, wasn't it in 1984 it was so hot that the track began to break up? But I'm sure that the caveat to that is I was watching a YouTube video there, but apparently though it's because they had new asphalt laid or something like that. MHD is now trying to recover. He's back into 11th position now. So I think that there was asphalt laid, or asphalt, is it asphalt? Whatever, new track was laid or something like that, which was certain it was something to do with that, which is why it started breaking up. And I think that they had to come back later on in the year in spot then, as Equals had to let him Flippy through there, as I think that Equals is just struggling for performance at the moment, as he's done 11 laps on those hard tires. Lucas Percy still leads the way with box on second position. 2 rivals from yesteryear, 2 rivals that spiced up the the season 9 world championship there. Of course, Troy then took advantage and went on to win there, similar to the 2007 world championship in real F1, where the 2 McLarens were fighting nose to tail. Then Kim Wrighton came at the end there and came in the end and spoiled McLaren's fun, didn't they? But of course, I think Troy was very much about consistency. Was Boxtel and Percy was kicking lumps out of each other, which was probably one of the highest rated seasons of ALR history, or certainly one of my favourite seasons of ALR. And also as well, it's probably on one of the worst games that ALR's ever driven on, which of course was the 22 game. Then Sam Swift Ninja on the outside into Blanchimont there. Equals had not put up too much of a fight there, because of course Equals knows that this is not his fight at the moment. Flippy, just wake up and turn to center, says Mayran there. As we've also got Cataracts, says Serious Pleasure. Or was that Cataracts? I'm not sure. On board of Flippy now, as it comes out of last source. Sorry, I was just checking that I had my sound on there, because I was like, oh my gosh, why not turn the F1 sound on? Which it really irks me. Now I need a reminder, because I have to turn it off at the beginning, because then you don't want to hear me dancing and jiving to the intro that we have of ALR as well, then, which is cool stuff indeed. Lap 13 out of 22 here tonight, and it's been a very robust Grand Prix, to say the least, hasn't it? There's been a lot of to and fro. Brabbit, I think, might be a bit too far back from the Duke at the moment, who is in 8th position, and is we're on board with Brabbit then. Of course, the Silver 7 World Champion, I believe, if I'm not very much mistaken. That was several years ago now, and I'm an old man these days. Goodness gracious me. When was that then? That probably was about 3 seasons ago. That can't be right. I feel like that feels a bit too far. My word. But as now Immortal and Flippy have caught up to the back of Boxtal and Percy. Now this is going to get interesting now, because of course now this is going to get very interesting, because Immortal's going to have to pass Boxstar and Percy. Percy is actually about 2 seconds down the road, but Immortal is going to get maybe held up ever so slightly, and this is the advantage that Flippy might be licking his chops here and potentially trying to get past the championship leader. Soundswift Ninja has been, we've been talking about Flippy, but Soundswift Ninja has been digging gold in, as you can tell by everything been talking about Bodycraft. But as it, Boxstar's in the pits then, so that maybe Boxstar's had enough of the rain, because I don't think the rain's coming, because look at the glorious sunshine. It feels like Zandvoort earlier on today then. Asphalt was from Wales. Bad idea. Oh, Mushroom, you watched that video as well, did you? Or do you just know about that? I love stuff like that. It really intrigues me. Which, to be fair, I don't know why. I just like unique things like that. But it was very interesting indeed then. So I was making a mount out of a molehill, really, because with Boxal, I thought it was going to stay out for umpteen more laps. But he is on the medium tyres now. So Boxal is going to be quicker than a hiccup for the final stage of this Grand Prix. But now they've got a 2-second buffer between Percy and Immortal. It's a racing ball, 1-2 here. Duke is past Legends. Can Brabbit do the same here? Brabbit diving down the inside, and through he goes, and he basically forced the manoeuvre on Legends. Legends couldn't do anything. Brabbit there forced the issue. He needed to get through his one to keep up with the Duke then, because if he was stuck behind Legends at this stage of the circuit, that would have cost him at least a second, maybe more then. And of course, and this game is all about seconds, tenths and inches in this one, isn't it? There's MHD in the background there. It'll be interesting to know what MHD's thoughts are with the contact he's had in this race, and Percy's viewpoint as well. And of course, we do love a bit of needle, don't we? I certainly do. As I'm just watching as Flippy is out of DRS range now, but Immortal is now starting to catch on Percy. This early, says Serious Version. Position, says Barb. So that's the penalty there. So we're talking about position a bit. That is back on board now with Immortal. Percy has stayed out, but so 10-second penalty for Percy after his contact with MHD, as of course he ran across Lake Com. 3-second penalty from Menace down in the 14th position. Knowles has got a 3-second penalty as well, and Chazza has a 10-second penalty for his collision with Kiki, which I must say those two 10-second penalties could possibly get rescinded then. But however, I am not a race steward. Luckily, as Boxall's got past MHD, then love that shot, fantastic. It's the two racing bulls there. I'll put on a clinic at the moment, but the caveat to that is, I love that word at the moment, the caveat to that is Immortal takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix, is that Percy has not stopped yet, and Percy might be thinking about that rain that's coming on. Brabbit's past Duke. Brabbit is past Duke then, and that has been a slow burner, but he has done it now, and he's moved up into 5th position, has Brabbit. So good stuff indeed there for Bradley. But has he got the pace centre now? Walks off down the road there. Morris is into the top 10 as well. That's great stuff indeed. What about that red ball of Equals and Nameless fighting for position? Nameless gives him just about racing room. Great racing there from Nameless. And then Riley getting out of the way as well. Very gentlemanly is Riley. Very good stuff indeed. Big fan I am of Riley, of course, getting a pole position earlier on the Japanese Grand Prix of Silver earlier on this season as well, which one of my highlights of Silver. That was great stuff indeed, even though I wasn't commentating that event, was I? But that's probably why Riley was doing so well. So Duke is still within that DRS, and then of course, and now we've got. I'm wondering if Flippy has really dropped off, hasn't it? And Mortal has just stepped it up a notch as well. As Sam Swift Ninja is very much on the back foot, isn't it? Is this the first time? I keep saying this, but over the year then, but I do feel that Sam Swift Ninja is into the pits. Now comes Percy very late on then on lap 16. So 6 laps. I wonder if he might go for the soft tire, you know, potentially. Across the line we come once again. Sam Swift Ninja is very much in the danger zone from Flippy's point of view now. Look at that then into last source. Oh, I love that camera. Fantastic. This is a beautiful circuit indeed. There it is. We'll keep an eye to see what Percy goes on then. He is at his box now as they fly past me. And Percy is, well, he's at his box, but he hasn't changed those tyres just yet. Here comes Sam Swift Ninja. He's on medium tyres, Percy. As Sam Swift Ninja has moved himself up into second position. The points gap is still 7 points. He's losing 7 points though over himself and Morton. And the Morton has extended us in the World Championship then by an extra 7 points, though, which the gap will now be 44 points then. And that is coming up to 2 Grand Prix. Oh, that's a big lock up from Sam Swift Ninja, just showing how much he's pushing out there. Equals has got past Morris. Morris doing a great job in 9th position as well there. Fantastic stuff indeed there for Morris. Hit that like button. Apparently apparently helps the YouTube anagram or anagram. Whatever. But basically it helps the Google Analytics and that kind of stuff as well. Apparently as well, so if you comment on the live stream then that also helps as well. So, oh, who's that? Someone clipped that, I think that was Bro then, taking a bit too much grass out of Puyong, and Duke then is going to be licking his lips in that red ball in 5th position. Great stuff indeed there for Duke then, just watching a Flippy who's trying to keep up with Sam Swift Ninja, but Sam Swift Ninja, it's all in the name, he is Swift at the moment, there he is. As, talking of which, as Taylor Swift is getting married as well, isn't it? So good stuff indeed then. I'm not sure if he's getting married to Sam Swift Ninja or not. I do not know. Maybe they're related. I do not know. And on board now with Flippy then. Apparently that was big news. That's all I seen all over the social media stuff this week was all about Taylor Swift. Great stuff indeed. I mean, it's all well and good, but it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. I know that sounds very nice, doesn't it? But that's the way I am. It's just watching MHD then, who's going to be very frustrated. Of course, he's third in the World Championship as MHD. But I must say that him and Percy, and I think even Boxstar as well had issues as well. Nah, softs are useless, a serious rusher. As Flippy is catching. There is Sam Swift Ninja. Sam Swift Ninja goes defensive, but it just breezes past. And I was expecting overtakes like that in this race then, but we haven't seen much of that at all. Riley's in the pits then for the Mercedes car. Of course, there's Super Sub tonight then. Flippy, AC, Brabbit, and Legends for driver of the day. I would have picked Legends, but Legends has not stopped yet. I reckon Legends is trying to gamble on that rain, but I don't think that rain's coming. It's still beautiful blue sky out there. I said that is beautiful blue sky earlier on, and it absolutely poured that on me as I was waddling my way back from shopping earlier on. Somehow it was sunny and rain at the same time, but sadly there's no rainbows out there, which is devastating indeed. Get your driver of the day vote in though, of course, and I must say that's a very tough vote to have. And Farfed is a difficult man to please though, isn't he? Cam's off the circuit. That's at the top of the hill. Cam down in 15th position in the Aston Martin. That Aston Martin probably needs a bit of a clean, to be honest. His teammate Nameless, sadly, he lives in 11th position, doesn't he? Nameless does, but if we had the point system of bronze in the event league, Nameless would have probably scored in almost every single race this season, and it's Nameless who I've been talking up the performance of Flippy, but Nameless is the championship results does not show how good Nameless has been. Equals on the outside of MHD, through he goes and into 8th position there. MHD then is on 10 lap old medium tyres. The Alpine's been damaged, and this is going to really hurt Alpine in the Constructors Championship as well. And MHD into the pits. Percy, of course, is out of the points as well at the moment there for Racing Bulls, as it is the Alpine and Racing Bull, which will be challenging for the Constructors' Championship. Kick Sauber at the moment is purchased at the pass of the race. Kick Sauber at the moment there is just about there, Flippy, and they're going to be going, I think they're going to be swapping positions, aren't they? Is Flippy and South Swift Ninja to the shield and checkered flag now, as Duke is through, no, Bogstall is through, passes Duke. Duke has done a lot of laps on these hard tyres now. Not as many as Equals, who also is at the top of the hill at Lake Com. Equals is up in 2-7 position. A strong race for Equals. He was saying about scraps in qualifying, but in the race trim there, Equals driving superbly well. Going for the alternative strategy from the Prime? Well, he answered that for ages. From the hard tyre to the medium tyre there. If anyone watched F1 in like in the early 2010s and stuff like that, they used to refer to tyres as option in prime for some unknown reason. There, I don't know why they decided. I don't know why, but yes, it basically was just the soft. It was just a soft and hard tyre in those days. We also had the. I used to like the multi-coloured tyres as well. Sadly, we don't have that anymore. But of course, we had the hyper soft, ultra soft, super soft, soft, medium, hard, and super hard, which is my personal favourite. No one goes off at the Mushroom Corner yet, says Serious Mushroom calls infamously in the F2 race. Mushroom decided to visit the outside of Puyong there, which Puyong, I struggle with that. Oh, on the outside goes Percy. Wow, he is through and in 10th position, magnificent stuff indeed. But Nameless is back into 11th position there. I must say, there's a lot of certainties in life. Taxes. Well, I don't know what the second one is. Taxes, food possibly, and Nameless in 11th position there. Goodness me. But Nameless really, it's just been 11th for most of the season, hasn't it? Percy in 10th position now on the medium tires, driving a superb race. They're trying to come back through the field nicely. Flippy this time has not got past Sam Swift Ninja. Can Sam Swift Ninja start to drop Flippy? This is a crucial in his championship bid here. He took 10 points out of Immortal last week in Silverstone, but at the moment there, he's now dropping another 7 points there. As Percy is through, passes Morris up into 9th position, then Morris down into 10th, and I feel that Morris may also now be sinking into the clutches of Nameless. There is Nameless now in 11th position in the Aston Martin. Shoplifting again, Sean Tut. How dare you? I would never shoplift, mainly because I can't lift, and to be fair, I don't go to the gym. On board with Nameless, and well, we've got some cloud cover now. So I think the Legends is not coming to pits. There is Legends there, as Legends is now is now not lifting and letting Percy go, because this is crucial. The rain, I think, is a bit too late in the race, and so Legends is going to probably do a. They used to call it a splash and dash. I don't think they call it a splash and dash these days, because there ain't no fuel in the car. Well, there is fuel in the cars. But there we go. As my goodness me, coming into Stavelo, and oh my word, then Percy's trying to force his way through. Out he goes, Paul Frere. And up into 8th position, or is it Paul Frere Stavelo? I do not know. I know there's a village called Paul Frere around that part of the circuit. Legends though is trying to come back out. Percy then into the bus stop chicane now. Then is Legends going to have a sniff? No, he isn't there. And it is status quo here. So MHD is back into 13th position then. He's going to have to do some overtaking to get some points though. Just watching Flippy, who's now cut at the top of the hill into Lake Com. He retakes 2nd position, passes Sam Swift Ninja, back up into 7th. And Alex in 12th position, says that Serious Russian. Well, Alex is now down into 14th position. So that's why Knowles has dropped down 2 positions, because, of course, Serious Russian said that Chance has got a couple of pounds there. And now here comes Morris, said, who is through and up to 9th position. And Legend said, I don't think this strategy is going to pay off. Legend has probably been looking at that sky now for the past umpteen laps or so, wondering where this rain is coming. Then. Well, it's now a very overcast then, but with only 2-3 laps to go, unless it's an absolute monsoon out there, I don't think that we're going to be expecting any rain tyres out there. So I feel that Legends' gamble of going the whole race so far is not going to pay off, sadly, from the Kick Sauber's point of view, which is such a shame, because Legends has performed quite nicely tonight then. Really good stuff indeed. Back to Boxstall, who is now keeping tabs, as they have both dropped Duke, who is down in 6th position there. I wonder if the Duke's tyres are starting to struggle there, whilst Boxtel's starting to get into the ascendancy on these medium tyres there. Great drive from Boxtel. Boxtel's not had a decent result in a couple of races or so. Last race he finished was Canada a few rounds ago then, and at the moment then this is gonna be his best performance of the season so far. His best race of the season so far is 7th position. So this is very impressive for Boxtel, and it's very much the old Boxtel as well, which is good stuff indeed, albeit Boxtel has had a horror show coming out of the bus stop chicane there, which is not ideal. That 21 out of 22. So Sam Swift Ninja, I'm wondering if he's thinking about maybe not overtaking Flippy at this part of the circuit there, and maybe thinking about it and trying to maneuver himself so that he does have a shot of overtaking on the last lap there. But now Flippy needs to stay with him, and he might be able to try and get that overtake going up the top into Lake Com then on the final lap then. So this is going to get very juicy indeed. But Nolsey, MHD and Legends is all in the pits there, and I'm going to go for fast lap there. Sadly for Legends there, that gamble in on the weather has not been the case here today. Unfortunately, I'm not sure on the box down in the bus stop there, but he's out of DRS now, which could cost him a chance for 4th position in this race. As we're on the second to last lap, and Immortal is on course for his 6th Grand Prix win of the season in 11 Grand Prix starts there. Immortal is absolutely flying out there at the moment, isn't it? Of course, remember, Immortal won 4 races in a row, didn't he? And it was really that since that performance, and now we've got the rain. But for Legends, I think the Legends is thinking if he had any luck, it'd be bad luck, and he's certainly feeling that at the moment. Soundswift Ninja is really trying to race away from the McLaren driver on board now with Flippy. Then, as you can see, there are raindrops now on the monocoque of Flippy, but Flippy is not going to be too concerned about that at the moment. Well, he might be concerned about that, especially into the braking zone of Lacombe. As there's Immortal, thank goodness me, that camera shot really foreshortened Immortal's lead then into this one as we come into the final lap now. Now, who is going to be second then? Is it going to be Soundswift Ninja, who's probably been harvesting? Now Flippy's harvesting as well. We can tell from that rain light here. This is going to be crucial for Flippy if he wants to finish second or third. This could be crucial for the outcome of the World Championship as well. Going for Eau Rouge over the ground of the hill. Here comes Flippy now then. So Flippy is quite a way back here, but he's gaining, and Soundswift Ninja hasn't got anything to defend with, and Flippy is up into second position and passes the world champion there. And the points gap is gone from 7 to 10 points then. My goodness me. So the points that he reeled in, Immortal with last week, has now been basically neutralised, hasn't it, from Soundswift Ninja's point of view. And the gap will be going back up to, where is it? Back up to 47 points there. From Soundswift Ninja's point of view, with just 8 rounds to go of this World Championship then. So Soundswift Ninja is getting mission critical now at the outcome, but he's still up. What's happened? Morris is out of the race. Oh no! And what's happened? He's gone on the outside. Leclerc crashed there in one of the practice sessions of Belgium a few years ago. But Morris, who's drove a superlative race, is out of the Grand Prix with just a handful of laps to go. Well, not even that, just 1 lap to go here. This is a horror show for Morris, who this is best race of the season. Sam's going to break Flippy, maybe not, says Serious Mushroom, but as we come into the final turn for the final time, then out of the final turn, then, and Immortal then out of the bus stop chicane, and Immortal is going to win the 6th Grand Prix of the season. Immortal wins the Belgium Grand Prix and extends his lead to the championship by 47 World Championship points out in this one. Oh my goodness gracious me. 8 rounds to go of this World Championship, and it is looking very formidable there for Immortal as Percy is fighting with Equals, and Equals is going to lose it on the line here. He does there as Percy recovers the 7th position there. The alternative strategy not working out too well as Nameless is going to get 9th position here, and Menace will get 10th there. Legends there was not too far away from points, well, about 10 seconds in the end. But Immortal there wins his 6th win of 11 races so far this season. The man is in formidable form, isn't it? And in terms of his career Grand Prix win, that is his 10th win of his career for Immortal. Wow, magnificent stuff indeed there. Can anyone stop this man then after 11 rounds? I would say absolutely not. It's been superlative stuff there from Immortal. Wow, magnificent stuff indeed there. Shoot me! Oh, shoot me there, says Indigo. I am finished. Finally got a chance to score points, said, and that is such a shame. And still got top 10 with 10-second penalty. GG Percy. You typed that before the crash, says Serious Russia. 42% of the vote then for Flippy, who got a driver of the day. As we are watching this, watching a very happy, I'm sure of it, Immortal, who has been, who I think will be overjoyed with this result today. It's been a pretty good race indeed. I'm enjoying this cool down, man. Fantastic stuff indeed. Though, just enjoying himself out there. Is Immortal there as he punches. Well, hopefully he'll punch the Scott. I was waiting for the. There he is. Look at that. Then he waves to the crowd of the Ardennes Forest with good stuff indeed. There. Good watch that, GG. Great race, gents, says Coop. Then nice pace, my lord, says Equals as well. Hopefully we'll get the final classification from the Belgium Grand Prix. Race winner, Immortal. Fast as that, Percy. Driver of the day, Brabant. Then Equals. Most overtakes. Cleanest driver, Immortal as well. Final classification then from the Belgian Grand Prix. Immortal is 10th win of his career and extends in the World Championship. Flippy in second with Soundswift Ninja in third. Fourth position is Brabant from 10th to 4th. Great stuff there. Box down in 5th. Duke, great driving 6th with Percy fast lap in 7th on his first drive as a racing bull driver. Equals in 8th, great driver from Equals, Nameless in 9th, and Menace gets a top 10 finish. Legends just outside the points 11 position and hanging on very gamely there, trying to wait for the rain, and it came too little too late. Riley in 12th position with MHD in 13th, a horror show for MHD. 14th Nosey, 15th Cam, 16th Chaza. Retirement was Morris. What a shame for Morris. Drove superbly well with Pease, Nigel, and Kiki all out of the Belgian Grand Prix. And let's have a chat with the drivers, shall we? One second. Oh gosh, goodness me. Absolutely incredible stuff indeed that has been today there for I've broken me interview screen. Whoops. Well, this is not going good, is it? Shocking stuff indeed. But we got Flippy, and we have got, and of course we have also got in the box as well. Is Sam Swift Ninja, and let's go with Sam Swift Ninja first. And Sam, great drive today great drive today then. But do you feel that third was all you can get on the cards, or are you disappointed with maybe not getting a Grand Prix win today?
I mean, it was a rubbish result, to be honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat over it. It was rubbish. I mean, I did like barely any practice, to be honest, which is obviously my own fault. I should have done some practice. And also with probably no one else doing for like a wetter setup as it was raining in the last few laps. Freaking, I had no grip with the setup that I had. And I mean, I'm just too slow anyway, so honestly, it's just a rubbish result. I need to start winning a lot more races, and once again, I've just lost another 15 points to AC, so it was rubbish, to be honest. It was rubbish all around.
You do have 8 rounds to go then, but at the moment, Immortal does seem to be on a rich run of form, because you did get that gap down, but it seems like the gap is neutralised, as I was mentioning qualifying earlier on today. Then is you got the gap down with a great result in Silverstone last week, but how frustrating is that then after that great win in Silverstone, and then unfortunately Immortal to open up the gap once again to 47 points? How frustrating is that?
Oh yeah, it is very frustrating. I mean, this entire season's been frustrating. I mean, it's been sorry for the language, but it's been crap compared to all the others. It's just there's been nothing. I just haven't had the pace in qualifying. I just haven't had the outright race pace because of the qualifying. And I mean, I'm useless compared to freaking the most of the top half of the freaking field now. It's ridiculous. I don't get how I could just go from freaking being at the top like by an absolute country mile according to loads of people, and then now I've just freaking had the biggest nosedive known to man. It's just honestly crap, but I mean, it's my undoing. I just don't have the pace on this game, and it's showing as the results. I'm constantly either getting third or outside the points, which I mean, AC's winning most of the races, so it's not good, but hey ho.
Can you take solace in the Grand Prix coming up though? Because you've had a lot of happy memories, especially in the latter stages of the championships, where you do seem to go on a really good run of form. And can you take solace of the history of your history of like always going on a really good run towards the end of the season? And of course, there's a couple of good tracks coming up, and you've had a good history. Could you take a bit of confidence in that?
Yeah. Obviously, I've already said multiple times in the Discord and freaking in interviews that my best circuits are near the end. But when it gets to a point, obviously I'm gonna try. Like I said multiple times before, I want to try and win everything. So I'm never gonna just give up with the fact that I'm like, I don't know, I'm probably like 60 odd points behind now, whatever it is. But so I'm gonna try and win every single race and claw it so I can try and win this title. But at this moment in point, like I said, with the gap being like 60 odd points, 50, 60 points, whatever it is, with how many little races to go, I need to outscore him like an average of 10 points a race, and I don't see friggin' AC going any lower than second place in most races. So probably, I'd say right now, it's probably championship over for me, which is annoying to say this early on. But obviously, I'm not gonna give up. Like you've said and I've said, it's my better circuit to the end of the season. So we'll see. But I'm not gonna try and like gas it up like it's gonna be one massive fight at the end. But I think the title's already wrapped up at this point, which is a shame. But I mean, it's my undoing. I just don't have a pace.
You mentioned about qualifying being a difficult issue as well, because over the years there, I would say that qualifying has been your Achilles heel, which even then it's still been a strong skill you've had. But going into Hungary and going into the Dutch Grand Prix in the next two races, qualifying is going to be quite paramount. Do you? I don't add to your woes here, but do you think you can address the qualifying issues going into those next two races?
They're two circuits that I'm good at, and I've had pace on like multiple games, and I enjoy doing like qualifying runs on them. So in terms of like the enjoyment of the circuit, they're really high for me. It's like just below obviously the back end of the season, which I enjoy the most. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. With AC's pace and MHD, all them lot, I could do like a good lap and like one of my best laps, and they're just outright quicker than me, so they'll probably still beat me by a couple of tenths. So honestly, it's like I said, it's over. I want to try and be more upbeat about it and stuff like that, and say that in the next few races I could do. I mean, I could just all of a sudden just go on a run of form and be all right with these next two races because I actually enjoy these circuits in terms of like my skill level and my pace around them. But I'm probably still going to get out qualified by HD and AC. So, and with them two circuits, especially Hungary, if you get out qualified by anyone, it becomes into a very boring race. Really early on.
It's still a long way to go, though, I would say. And also you do have a history as well of doing something slightly different with strategy as well. Like today, you did go one lap longer on the, I think it was on the medium tires. And potentially, could you do something like that in a race like Hungary where the undercut is quite powerful? Is there anything in your arsenal that you're thinking maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that? But obviously, probably don't share it actually.
Um, well, the undercut will be powerful. The undercut will be powerful on every circuit, but obviously there's always a chance of a safety car, and with Hungary, with it being Hungary, there's probably a higher chance than any other normal circuit. But I mean, even if you go for an undercut, then everyone else will just if one person just pits, because there's most likely going to be a train at Hungary. So if one person pits, then everyone's just going to pit. So everyone's still going to be on the same strategy because there's only going to be like a 1 or 2 lap difference in tires, which is not really going to do much when we're just going to be following the leader for 35 laps. So honestly, the strategy wise, I don't think even if I told you, obviously on the streams, there's not literally that much difference for strategies to do around that circuit because it's just a DRS train, and then when you're in the middle sector, it's just enough to just not get you anywhere close. So, well, I mean, we'll see.
Thank you very much, Sam. Even though you said it was a bad day today, I thought the podium was still very good, nonetheless. Said, let's come to Flippy. You got second today, and Flippy, goodness me, I think that you had a great battle with yourself and Immortal throughout the beginning of the stint, but then towards the end you did drop into the clutch of Sam Swift, but you got that second position in the end. In the second stint, was you just struggling with the hard tires?
Yeah, I think so. Because I don't know. I just feel like I had more pace on mediums than the hards today. But I think the main factor that I lost the RS to Immortal was the back markers. Because I have to burn a lot more ERS compared to him to get past the back markers. Because if I don't get past them, I'll just get held up in the sector 2 and just lose the RS again. So I had to burn more ERS. And obviously at the end, the last one was Lucas, and I think he just kind of worked as a team, which is fair enough. I just didn't have the pace to catch back up at the end.
So was that there was us talking about the hard tires then? So that was the crucial part of the race then, the traffic then and pitting earlier on then. Do you think if you went on the alternative strategy then, do you think that that would have helped or hindered you to maybe win this race today?
No, definitely not. If you look at the Alpine P2, I think he dropped so many places at the start because they updated the game and the hard are now C1s and they're not going to work at the start. They're just going to drop loads of positions on the race start and I don't think it's going to work. I think one of them make them work. I think Lucas got P7, P6 at the end, which is decent, but mediums hard is definitely by far the best strategy in terms of like just managing the temperature is so much easier to just start on mediums and run away and just manage your tires in the second stint.
There's a lot of talk about rain at the beginning of the race then, but that came way too late then. Do you think that that might have been the factor for some guys going on the hard tires, or was the rain not going to be a factor for you?
I think you're right. The range should be one of the main factors of people starting on hards, but either way, I don't think it was the last two icons. And with no VSC or anything, it wouldn't go to the last two icons. And there was one VSC, but the second to last icon was light rain, and the last icon was heavy rain. So I knew that it's not going to rain that heavy for us to go on inters, and it's only going to be the last couple of laps anyway. I don't think it's like you can gain like 10 seconds a lap. I don't think it would get to that point. So I just stuck to my medium hard strategy.
We are talking about the traffic, I think, is probably one of the main factors today. Then, when you're preparing for a race, do you think about the traffic, knowing that this is such a long circuit and potentially it's less likely that you're going to get stuck behind someone, especially with that long straight up to Lake Com? Does that come into factor in your preparation and maybe going for and talking about strategy before the race?
Yeah, to be fair, that's something I would consider, but I think I wasn't expecting so many people to start on hard today, just mainly because, as I explained, you're just going to lose so much position at the start. But yeah, I think I could have run a bit lower, a bit more lower wings on the setup to help with overtaking the back markers, but I just wasn't expecting so much kind of back markers to overtake on the second stint. Yeah.
And I've been singing your praises all throughout the season. You've been the best silver champion to come into gold and just really mix it up with the front runners. Going into Hungary, we're over halfway through the season now. I'm going to keep saying it. When is your first Grand Prix going to Grand Prix win going to come?
Um, Definitely not Hungary. That track, I don't think I would even like finish in the top five or even top 10. It's just a track that is so frustrating to drive. As Sam said already, it's just DRS train and just 35 laps just staying behind people. And I don't know, maybe towards the end of the season, Qatar's a decent track. Is that on the calendar? I think that's on the calendar. Qatar's a decent track for me, and maybe Vegas with the long straight. Anything happened? But yeah, just definitely not Hungary next week. Yeah, I just don't like that track.
You know more than me. Both over on the card are fantastic. So round 18 and 19 then. If anyone wants to have a bet, then put it on a Flippy to win one of those two races. Fantastic stuff indeed. Well done today, Flippy. Great drive to a second position. Sam in third position in the end, and Immortal has extended his lead back to 47-ish points in the World Championship there. So over half distance down the World Championship, 8 rounds to go, and this is getting very interesting indeed. Silver tomorrow night. Let me get up my old stuff. Tomorrow night is silver. Then Mayran has got the lead in the championship, then the top runners have kind of stalled, haven't they? As all the top runners have not been raced or have not been scoring points. Then Mark has moved himself up to second position by 1 point now, but the top 4 is covered by just 23 points, and Kiki has gate crashed that championship fight as well. It's going to be looking very good as well. And Sweet has been on such a good run of form, winning multiple races in the last 3 races, elevated himself up into 5th position. I cannot wait for that one. McLaren's formidable form in the opening stage of the season has kind of dwindled, and it will be interesting to see if the Haas driver Sweet can really get himself inserted in that championship fight then in the Belgian Grand Prix tomorrow. Goodbye.